On this episode, we're going to talk about how to get grandparents to want to babysit your kid. So, the reason why I got this idea was I read this opinion article or like an advice column from Carolyn Hacks of the Washington Post. And in there was a story about this mom, and she drove 5 hours and dropped her two kids off with her parents for like a 4-day vacation or something. And then after that 4 days, the parents called her and was like, hey, we did it this time, but we aren't doing it again because it's just too stressful. And the mom was all beside herself and was offended and was hurt and disappointed. And so the advice that Carolyn Hacks gave was awesome. But I thought, hey, let's give some how-tos on how to get grandparents to want to watch your kid. So there's that story. Now, there's lots of reasons why we want to have our kids, our grandparents, our parents want to watch our kids. First of all, there's huge benefits for both the grandparents and the kids. The grandparents, because the kids are so stimulating and active, the parents who are elderly they are still using their cognitive faculties. They are moving around, they're having fun, they're getting socializing, they're connecting with their grandchildren, they feel like they have purpose. These are all great things for our older parents / grandparents. These are all things that we want. On the other side, for our kid, there's also benefits of intergenerational care, of our parents taking care of our kids. And those are like kids learn how to be around old people and how to like maneuver their energy and navigate their energy and like increase or decrease, I don't know which way it is, their energy based off of the other adults in the room. And they realize that like different adults are going to take care of them differently, and they need to adapt to the expectations of that environment. We don't only want to be the adults that our kids are around, because then what happens is we're the only kids that we're the only adults that our kids can be around. That's exhausting. Other benefits. Good Lord, the prices of babysitters. I had a couple client tell me that, granted they had 4 kids, but they got quoted $35 an hour to babysit their 4 kids. $35 an hour. Good Lord, did this babysitter have some kind of awesome credentials? $35 an hour. What happened to like $7 an hour? I mean, not 7, but like probably like 10, 12 now. Like that seems to be an appropriate rate, at least in the Midwest, for a babysitter. But man, think like it's but if you can get your parents to want to watch your kid, cha-ching, much more affordable. Those are all good things. So what do we need to do? I think the first thing is we need to accept that the grandparent's role is significantly different than the parenting role. Grandparents have already done they've already done their thing. They've already raised you. They shouldn't have to like be the quote unquote parents, but grandparents are supposed to be fun. For example, one of my friends told me this hilarious story just the other day. Her parents, she wanted to go to worship a night during the week. And she asked her parents like, hey, can you watch the kids so that I can go to this worship? I really need it. And her parents were like, yeah, absolutely. So the grandparents come over and she comes home, and it's not bedtime quite yet, but like my friend comes home and there's pillow cushions all over the house. They had made forts. The kids had eaten ice cream. The kids had eaten a bunch of other stuff, and they were definitely not ready for bed. But my friend was like, I'm not mad at it. It's just so funny because it's so different to the way I was raised. Because the grandparenting role is not the same as the parenting role. And so we need to expect or accept that, and that's okay. And so I remember when I was reading this article and I was reading the mom, the number one question that I asked myself was like, what expectations did this woman and her husband place upon the grandparents that would make it so stressful and exhausting? Because chances are it's not like if they were able to do the grandparent role and just have fun, that it wouldn't be stressful and exhausting. That's the opposite of what we're looking for. So I wondered, what expectations did these parents put on the grandparents? And that's actually my number one strategy, probably the only strategy, because some variations of it, of getting your grandparents to want to watch your kid, is to have no expectations of the grandparent. I remember my in-laws take our kids they've taken them for 5 days this year and a week last year. And I remember my mother-in-law being like, okay, can you give me a written out thing, a schedule? And I was like, no. And I don't think I wasn't trying to be like oppositional. I was just communicating with her like, you do whatever you want with the kids. I trust that you are going to take care of my children because you raised my husband. So if you raised my husband, obviously you know how to raise children. And so I think that's the thing. No expectations. Allow them to have fun. They kept you alive, so obviously they can keep other people alive. So the other thing is, you want your children to want to go to the grandparents' house. How do we do that? You make it fun. So my parents allow the kids to watch TV. Do we let them watch TV? No, but my parents do. The kids know that they're excited whenever they get to do sleepovers. Why? Because they get to watch TV. It's exciting. It's not going to kill my kids. So you want to, in the same way, in the same vein that you want the grandparents to want to watch your kids, no expectations, you also want your kids to want to go to their grandparents. And boy, this is a lot of wants in here. And I think the biggest thing is, as long as your children are alive and well when you go and pick them up, it's free range. No expectations. Again, they kept you alive. So let's recap. If you want your grandparents to want to watch your kid, which is huge for financial reasons, for cognitive reasons, for aging parents, for the benefits of your children, no expectations. Reduce the expectations. Do not put, like, you have to hit that, let them figure out their own routine. And with that, and with all the benefits of grandparents watching their grandkids, we are going to definitely throat punch this youth mental health crisis. Let's go.